the third round of the championship, and this Valencia circuit, without doubt, is going to tax some skill here for sure. It's very tight indeed. Ostensibly a motorcycle track. They test here in Formula One, but as you can see, it's all based very much on the American idea of an oval, effectively, but of course the track is very much a European track. The idea, though, is that the crowd can see everything. In terms of the championship, Robert Kubica has 32 points ahead of Andreas Zuber with 24 points. Then comes Toccacello of Italy with 22. Christian Montanari, the man from San Marino, who won in Monaco, he has 20 points. And the local favourite here, Adrian Valles, has 20 points also. The championship really is wide open at the moment as we take a look at the man on pole position, Felix Portiero, also a Spaniard. So the Spaniards looking to try and take advantage of their knowledge of the home circuit, and of course the fans have come to see them, and both the Epsilon Iscari team on the front row, so it's an all Spanish car front row. But of course the championship leader, Robert Kubica of Poland, with 32 points, is also on the front row. And in terms, the championship may be wide open, but the times on the grid are quite unbelievable. The top 20 are split by just 1 second. I don't know of any other motorsport where after 3 days practice they could be that close. Robert Kubica, not too worried about taking pole position. His teammates there. He's a cool customer, is Kubica, and he knows that points make prizes, and he has his eyes set on the championship. He wants to get a good, clean start and keep away from any trouble, and there will be some trouble, I'm sure. Eric Salignon of France looking to get further up the board, having not had the easiest of starts to his championship. He's yet to score any real points in this championship. Colin Fleming, well, it all starts here for him. He hasn't raced yet this season. He was involved in, of course, the practice crash at Zolder, where he was stranded on the far side of the track and didn't take part in that race. Didn't go to Monaco. Got penalized for passing. He was one of 4 drivers, as was Andreas Zuber, for passing and going too fast under a yellow flag, and the Monaco officials pulled him out of the race. So Zuber too, likewise, back in action this weekend, second in the championship, somehow, amazingly, after Monaco, holding on to his second place in the championship, but now he's only got a 2-point gap over himself and Toccacello. Will Power is another man, just 1 point in the championship, but he's shown, the young Australian from Carlin Motorsport, but he's certainly got the pace to be right up there with the leaders. So there's a lot of men out there with a lot of points to prove this afternoon. Colin Fleming, Will Power, they're all very good drivers, and they've perhaps been given a bit of a reprieve by the fact that the likes of Zuber and Fleming didn't take part. Adrian Valles, likewise, he is currently in 5th place in the championship with 20 points at the moment. And of course, he is the local hero. His family are here, spoke to him earlier. He hails from about 60 kilometers away from here. His father runs a kart circuit, and that's how he honed his skills to be on this very illustrious field. A little bit further down, another man looking to score points, Marcus Winkelhock. And amazingly, despite the fact that he's been there or thereabouts in almost every race he's taken part in, he's way down in the championship at the moment with just 11 points. And he is another man out to prove himself this afternoon. Jaap van Lagen, who was brilliant at Monaco, is also way down the field. So there's a lot of drivers. It's going to be an interesting start, I would have thought. And here to enjoy it with me is English driver Wesley Barber, who's in the rough and tumble of the 2-litre series at the moment and has already been around this circuit in anger twice. But as we go on the warm-up lap, Wesley, just give us an idea of what these guys are facing, where we perhaps can pass, and what kind of trials and tribulations they're up to.
Well, this circuit, like you said, is for motorbikes, and you are just constantly just turning, and also it goes around the wrong way. So ultimately, I was speaking to a few of the World Series guys, and they said they're not looking forward to the short race because it's just completely flat out, and that actually they're being physically strong enough, and their necks and everything could actually be a problem for them. So we could actually see, you know, from probably sort of lap 14, it's starting, people starting to make a lot of mistakes. But you know, this warm-up lap's always seems to be a problem with number 3, the guy in 3rd place. It was Eric Salignon. Yeah, look, he can't go. He's going to have to start from the back of the grid if they can get that started. That's got to be a real shame. They're heading off to the first corner, and I can't imagine what the speed they do around this first corner. I've been trying to speak to. I think they're like 200 clicks around there. You know, like this. I was speaking to the Japanese driver Ryo Fukuda, and he says you just can't believe it because your neck gets pulled out of the cockpit because it's incredible how much grip these cars have got. Oh look, they're just bump starting it, seeing if they yeah, he's off. But unfortunately, because all the cars have passed the line now, he's going to have to start at the back of the grid, so that's going to be a great disappointment for him. You know, now they're just warming up their brakes, you know, getting the tyres, making sure everything feels right for the first lap, because ultimately that's where you can gain or lose as many places as you can.
Here is the grid then. Portiero, the local man from Epsilon Euskadi in Spain, is in pole. Kubica, Salignon and Fleming. Zuba, who is second in the championship, lines up fifth. Alongside him, his teammate, Will Power. Valles, the local man. Winkelhock, Gomendy, another Frenchman, Paganot. Simon Paganot is 10th. Another Frenchman, Pilet, is 11th place. Danielson, Alex Danielson, welcome back after breaking his ankle at Zolder. He is back in 13th place. We'll talk about him in a minute. Van Lagen, way down in 14th position, doesn't know why. Tocacello, likewise, couldn't get the balance right. Fukuda, Pavlovich. Montanari, winner in Monaco, down in 19th now. Now you can start to see why so many of the top runners have got to get good starts. Mondini, champion last year, nothing this year, 21st at the moment. Miguez Chandok of India. Vervish of Belgium. Bellarosa of Italy in 26th position. Jean-Marie comes into the championship for Maldonado because Pastor Maldonado banned for 5 races. Yeah, not good. And he is out, and Jean-Marie comes in. He's got plenty of experience, but still obviously learning his way in this particular car. We'll keep an eye on what happened to Eric Salignon, who obviously stalled or couldn't get the car started off the line. This is the formation lap for round 3 of the championship. 2 races. This a sprint race of 19 laps, and as you just heard from Wesley, very physical indeed, especially around this tight, twisty circuit, pretty much designed for bikes, and there is no let up. The long straight is perhaps the only place, but then you've got to watch your mirrors because it's also another place where people might come by and pass you if they can. Felix Portiero takes his first pole position here, the local man. Lines up alongside Robert Kubica, the championship leader with 32 points. This could be a big weekend for a lot of drivers out there. So then there is a position free where Alex Salignon was in 3rd position. We're about to get underway. We're about to go racing here in Valencia for the 3rd round of the World Series by Renault. Question is, can anyone steal a march from the start? Because it's all going to be about the start. There's very little places to overtake. In the Renault race, the lights went out very quickly indeed, and I'm sure a lot of the drivers were just watching how the officials were going to play that one. Perhaps Zuba has a chance to steal a little bit of space, given the fact that he's got clear air in front of him. Watch out for Colin Fleming as well. The revs go up. Away we go, a great start from both the front men and brilliant start from Will Power. Zuba didn't get away too well. Valles goes up the inside. So both the Epsilon men get away well. Into the first corner they go. Just under 200 kilometers an hour, streaming into there, hardly braking. Then down to the second corner, which is a tight hairpin, second gear. 93 kilometers per hour through there, but everybody cleanly through. And it looks as though Felix Portiero does get away ahead of his teammate Kubica, then Colin Fleming. Good start from Power. Valles takes 5th. Oh, somebody's already off into the grass. Bit of a shame there, but it looks like Colin Fleming that might have gone off, which is a real shame because Colin literally starting his season this weekend. His last race was Macau 8 months ago. I was there. He was in the Renault Championship 2-litre. He came second in that, and he hasn't raced since. So perhaps a little over-exuberance in the early stages of this one. But it is, at the moment. From Spain, Felix Portiero. There's another look at the Red Bull man. Colin Fleming going off there, the American. No room, and as I said, it just is only one line through this track. Oh, somebody else spinning heavily there. That is car number 11. And that's Benani. Mehdi Benani from Morocco, the former Formula BMW, and I think somewhat out of his depth in this championship. He's hardly driven anything like this He drove at Monaco for the first time, and the Moroccan trying to advertise Morocco tourism and doing a good job of that, but still learning his way in what is a very powerful 425 horsepower, 450 horsepower race car by Renault. So then, things settling down. 19 laps of this race. Good start also by Winkelhock by the looks of things. Yellow flags being waved for the cautions on Mehdi Banani, and let's hope that doesn't bring out the safety car. But as we catch our breath, Wesley, what did you notice from the first couple of laps?
Well, like you said, the two Epicillion cars, they obviously quite, they're looking very strong here, and it seems to be, the Carlings are right behind them. But it doesn't seem to be Excellion's making a few places, but like you said, it's so difficult to overtake round here that once you're in one position, you've got to really sort of break a limb almost to try and get past somebody. It's so difficult. Does it look like they've got a safety car out? They're just yellow flag, just like it just looks like yellow flag. But everybody's sort of settled down now. Everyone's got a little bit of a gap, especially with these cars. With the amount of downforce you'll get a lot of dirty air behind it, and just a matter of keeping your pace.
So then about to cross the line again, and a good start by both the leaders. And Portiero, the Spaniard, crosses the line now. He puts in a 124.8, and just slightly quicker actually was the man in third place, Will Power, on the move at the moment, a 124.4. And in fact, Velez in fourth place now is even faster, 124.3. Then Pegagnon, Zuba didn't get away as well as he wanted to. He's in a battle with Winkelhock, Gomendy and Pile. Van Lagen has moved up the field. That's good stuff from him. Oh, big off there. Is that Van Lagen?
Yes,
Van Lagen has made a big mistake there, but somehow saves it. That was pretty impressive by the Dutchman. How on earth he saved that, I'll never know. We'll have a look at that in a moment. And, well, Wesley, you tell me what he does here.
It looks like he just gets on the power a little bit too early, and just wanted to get a really good exit and just mess it up, really, I think.
Classic motor racing by Van Lagen. Classic mistake. Portiero, though, he's out of the wars at the moment and going strong. Keeping an eye on who might be coming through. Fukuda didn't get a good start. Chandok at the moment, 20th place. Pavlovic struggling with oversteer in 17th position. Passini, 16th. Montanari, winner at Monaco. And it seemed such a long time ago now here in the heat of Valencia. Such a hero in Monaco, down in 15th position now. Colin Fleming has rejoined. He's in 13th position. And across the line come the leaders again. Upping the pace now, Portiero, and moving a little bit further ahead. He's got 0.9 of a gap now between him and his teammate. And there you see Velez, Pegagnon, Winkelhock, Gomendy, Pile and Danielson. Great to see Alex Danielson back in the car. Remember, Danielson was the man who broke his ankle in Zolder when he hit Colin Fleming, who was stranded on the circuit. This is all during practice. Danielson sadly was hit by another car and broke his ankle in the incident, which put him out, obviously, of that race and of Monaco. But amazingly, all strapped up, his right leg. He's back in the car and doing an excellent job. Let's hope he can last the afternoon, because it's going to be very physically hard with... he's still got a little bit of back strain from the accident, and also his ankle's still giving him a bit of jip. But I have to say, very brave indeed. They've actually put a special spring in his throttle pedal. As we've just seen that 21, that's Eric Salignon, is under investigation. Now, of course, Salignon started at the back, and I want to know if they'll probably want to find out whether the procedure was done correctly in terms of him starting this race at all. But back to Alex Danielson. Great stuff to see him back out there, and he really is being brave and trying to get some points on the board, and he's been fast all weekend. Let's hope physically he can hold up. As down the straight they come then, in sixth gear now, across the line comes Portiero, a 123.9. These boys are flying. Portiero and Kubica really laying down some speed now. Both of them in the 123s. They are the fastest men on the track at the moment, ahead of Will Power, who just did a 124.0. So Will Power's not that far behind, and nor too is Velez. So the top four starting to pull away. This a sprint race, remember, and so no pit stops in this, but the leaders at the moment really pushing hard. Van Lagen's dropped down to 16th place. Now they've asked the team manager of Car 21 to report to the race director. And the fastest lap, as you see there, by Kubica. A 23.8 by him, so Kubica now chasing down Portiero, but I don't think they'll get into any fisticuffs. Certainly listening to Kubica in the press conference, he is a cool customer. He's happy to just take the points, take second place, maybe go for it if he gets the opportunity, but he won't be pushing Portiero here on his home race. There's no need to do it. It'll be good for the team if they get a first and second, and brilliant for Kubica, who leads the championship by 32 points at the moment. Portiero really isn't in the running yet, and Portiero has just 8 points and down in 11th place. So actually, for the team, if Kubica's being smart, they might just let Portiero get away with this one, follow him home in second place, pick up the points for that, and not worry too much. Across the line they come again. Will Power still struggling in third to try and keep with this pace, but he now ups his pace. He does a 1:23.6. That's brilliant by the young Australian, who has Mark Webber emblazoned on the side of his car. Mark Webber, of course, the Formula One driver for BMW, who had also a brilliant Monaco, and effectively backed by him. And that's great news for the Aussie, who is looking to turn his season around. Just 1 point in the championship at the moment for Will Power, but we've seen from his pace in Zolder that he's worthy of a lot more than that, and he could certainly win this race. We've seen now a drive-through penalty for Salignon, so the Frenchman really having a rotten day. And Wesley, you just don't want that. You stall on the grid and then you have to do a drive-through. It's just not what you want.
No, definitely not. You know, they've done a great job to qualify third, and then it just when it goes wrong, it goes wrong. I mean, but you know, for Kubica at the moment, he's got to be he's well happy. You know, he's in second place. A guy that's in second in the championship, Zuber, doesn't seem to be figuring in the race at all. And you know, he's just got to keep second really, and shield his teammate. I think, you know. They look very strong, those two Epsilon cars. They've been quick here all weekend, and you know, I think it's just shown now. They just seem to be quicker. I know Gormady has managed to do the quickest lap, but they're just, you know, just stretching their legs nicely.
Across the line they come then. This time Portiero puts in a 1:23.2. That was very quick indeed. 6 laps gone. And tyres seem to be the story of the weekend as we take a look at the Epsilon Euskadi team. Loads of experience with the World Series by Nissan over the years, and they know this track, they know the data from this track, whereas some drivers are coming to it for the first time. Certainly Epsilon, though, have equipped themselves brilliantly this weekend. A lot of the other drivers complaining about the fact that, I say complaining, all drivers complain, but are complaining about the fact that they hadn't used new tyres on this track until they started qualifying, and it threw quite a lot of people because they had test days and free practice on old tyres, and they got the balance of the car set up right for that, then put the new tyres on, and it seemed to go out the window. And that is the case for Van Lagen, for Pavlovic, for Winkelhock, and several other drivers. And so some of the top men who you expect to be faster perhaps haven't been, simply because they haven't got set up right. Colin Fleming is flying, 9th position, a 1:24.049 by him last time out, and so he's back on the pace. Toccacello moving up to 10th position. Winkelhock moving down, he's 11th at the moment. Montanari's moved up to 15th place, and Fukuda still down in 17th place. Chandok 19th, Koska in 20th. That's the top 20. As they cross the line again, Portiero, 1:23.5 this time out, and his lead now 1.6 seconds. Will Power in 3rd position, still in touch with these two. So too Adrien Valles, the local man from Spain, in 4th. Simon Peguenot of France is 5th. Tristan Gomandy is 6th. He's another one that just couldn't get the setup. The KTR team from Belgium really struggling, and that was exactly the problem they had, was that they know both of their drivers are very fast, but they just couldn't get a decent setup here at Valencia. Best lap at 1:23.7 by Adrien Valles. So Valles is now on the move and trying to catch Will Power in 3rd position. The gap between Valles and Portiero, his fellow Spaniard, 3.2 seconds now. Here he is, car number 5. Got the whole family here. Very polite young man. Great to talk to. Really enjoying and relishing the opportunity to race in front of his home crowd effectively here. And of course they're expecting him to win the championship. A lot of Spanish interest in this championship. And of course Spaniards now becoming big aficionados on motor racing, Formula One, and the likes of Alonso and Pedro de la Rosa have really changed the face of motorsport in Spain. Somebody else stranded out on track and stuck in the gravel by the looks of things. And the marshals will try and push him out of there if they can. Meanwhile, the leaders come back over the line. And a slower lap by Portiero there. And Pagano also, Simon Pagano putting in a cracking lap of 123.9. Likewise, Gomendi behind him. So the two Frenchmen are starting to chase the Spaniard in fourth. So we could be in for a cracking end to this race. 11 laps to go.
You know, the tyres now, they've been going for about 12 minutes, so they're definitely going past their best now, and it's just a matter now of just bringing the pace back a little bit, especially, you know, like the guys that I've spoken to have said, you know, this is going to be the hardest race out of a lot of them, really, because they've just got to keep going and going, and the tyres will go off, you know. It's going to be sort of a good 20-25 minutes race, and by the time we get to lap 14, I think those tyres are going to be very, very second-hand.
Do you have low no claims bonus and want cheaper car insurance? Well, at last, there's car insurance for people with low no claims bonus. Bell. Look, I know it's hard to find cheaper car insurance when you have low no claims bonus. Bell could save you up to £140. So, if you have 0, 1, 2 or 3 years no claims bonus, give us a bell on 0800 140 180. You've got nothing to lose. Or save even more at bell.co.uk.
Annoying, isn't it? You're trying to find a way to raise some money, but every path you take seems blocked. Maybe it's your employment status, or possibly your low credit rating, or maybe just that you're retired. Whatever your circumstances, Greenhill Finance may be able to point the way. All Greenhill Finance ask is that you're a homeowner looking to borrow between £3,000 and £500,000. Your loan can be for any purpose and repaid over a period of time to suit you. You may even want to consolidate your existing debts. There are no interviews and no salesperson will call. So for that any-purpose homeowner loan or remortgage, see how Greenhill Finance can show you the way. Call Greenhill Finance now on 0800 916 4142 or apply online at greenhillfinance.co.uk.
Move up to Britain's fastest growing network with a great new deal from Dial-A-Phone, the UK's leading direct mobile phone specialist. A line rental of just £30 a month is slashed with Dial-A-Phone's special cashback by redemption deal. So the first 12 months work out at just £4.99 a month. 500 anytime, any network voice minutes, 100 text messages, and the latest Motorola V975 video phone absolutely free. Plus 3 months free insurance and delivery included. Order now. Visit dialaphone.co.uk/TV or call Dial-A-Phone free on 0800 107 4706.
The starting gun has sounded for the prize draw. Come and join Allianz and be a guest in the BMW Williams F1 Team Suite. Just answer our prize question. Which Australian racing driver starts for the BMW Williams F1 team in 2005? All the information is available on the internet at f1.allianz.com. Click and win.
Southern race settling down now. Portiero got a great start, as did Kubica. Just what they wanted, and the key definitely is a good start here. And I'm just watching out who might come through. We saw Pagano and Gomendi and Pile all going well in 5th, 6th and 7th. Danielson, great result for Danielson up there in 8th position, the young Swede, who is backed by Metro newspapers that are all over Europe, and they are here in the stands, his sponsor this afternoon, and so he's putting on a good show for them. Colin Fleming, the American, is in 9th position in his return to racing. There you see it, Portiero, Kubica, just 1 second off Power, 2 seconds down on the leader at the moment. So Will Power having a good race, and this is a good chance for Power to score good points here. Remember, there's also points for the fastest lap as well as pole position. So different ways that you can score points. Montanari now in 12th position behind Winkelhock, and he's but some 3 seconds behind Winkelhock. Kubica, there you see the gap between the two of them.
Giro's losing about some 3/10 of a lap. He's done it for the last couple now, you know, and it's giving Kubica some hope again all of a sudden. You know, Kubica's got it down to a second. It was almost 2 at one stage, so, you know, I think he's, you know, I don't know whether he's just biding his time, just giving it a little bit of an easy bit halfway through the race, but, you know, it looks like Kubica's on a mission now, and the guys behind him just seem to be all catching him up, so, you know, he needs to turn it up a bit, I think.
Where, if anywhere, can you pass, or where can you make up time? You've been out on the track yesterday and today. We're looking at, you know, a lot of guys now trying to make up some space and maybe make a position, but there isn't that many places to overtake. Where would you, if you were pushing hard now, where would you try and make a move?
Well, you've got the second corner. Obviously, it's followed by a quite a fast one, but you can, because you stop dead. It's basically a hairpin, which is a good place to overtake. And then you've got just another hairpin where they're coming up to, you know, that just where there, if you can overtake, where you can see on the TV. Just because it's so slow, really. You know, you can't do anything around these next 2 corners, but it's just because you just don't really go. But this next one here is a good chance to overtake when they're coming up the hill, and then you've got another tight hairpin again, which you can overtake. But other than that, you know, it's just frustrating, because you'll find somebody will be quick in the first sector, you know, and bad in the second sector where you can't overtake, and then they get onto the pitch straight again, and they fly again. So it's really difficult to overtake here. It's just designed for motorbikes, really, not for cars.
Spoken like a true racing driver of 4 wheels. Now, interesting enough, Eric Salignon has done the fastest lap of 1:23.029. And, of course, there is a bit of a stewards' inquiry going on. His team manager currently talking to the stewards. But it could prove to be very important for Salignon, because there is a prize for that fastest lap. We may not see anything quicker than 1:23.0. And as Wesley quite rightly pointed out, the tire's starting to go off now, and the time's not as quick as they were in those opening laps. But across the line comes Portiero. And having said that, Kubica just did a 1:23.9, and Power was flying a 1:23.6 from Will Power. So keep an eye on 3rd place, Will Power of Australia. And of course, Australians also to the fore. I mentioned the Spaniards. Well, Australia are having a golden age in many ways, because when Webber's doing so well, you've got Ryan Briscoe, you've got Christian Jones, son of Alan Jones, and of course the A1 coming up soon, and they're all vying for position in that. And Will Power certainly in pole position, driving this sort of car. These are all Renault cars, prepared exactly the same. The teams obviously are able to change the suspension, the ride height, and a few other things. But in terms of the engine and in terms of the chassis, they are all identical. So it's all about the drivers. And the drivers we're watching at the moment are Portiero and Kubica. Their team have stolen a march without a doubt all weekend. They've been so quick throughout the weekend. And even in free practice, when they arrived here at Valencia, the team were on it straight away. Carlin Motorsport, what a tradition they've got. And they're currently in 3rd. A 1:29.8 from Gomondy. Gomondy slowing down, so problems there. And that allows Danielson, the Swede, in 8th position to possibly go past. Now he's some 4 seconds quicker than Gomondy. So Gomondy with a real problem. Across the line come the leaders then. Will Power still in pursuit. Valles likewise. 16 is Paganot, the Frenchman. These top 6 have a huge gap over number 27, Pilet, Gomondy and Danielson. Colin Fleming goes through. Toccacello is in the top 10 finally. Winkelhock is behind him. Montanari 12th. La Rosa is in 13th position. Van Lagen is up to 14th, but that's disappointment for him. Good move by Karun Chandok. He's up to 16th, the young Indian. A 1:23.7, impressive indeed. And in fact, Pavlovich and Chandok are flying down in 15th and 16th for a second faster than the men in front. So watch out for some fireworks at the back of the grid as well. So the top 4 have, or top 5, Paganot as well, have a huge gap of some 10 seconds ahead of the rest of the field. Will Power, best lap of 1:23.6. So the young Australian doing a very good job for Carlin Motorsport. Trevor Carlin and his team, of course, involved in Formula One with 2 graduates from this championship. Tiago Monteiro of Portugal and Narain Karthikeyan of India. And they are both representing the Jordan Midland team at the moment. And of course, that is run by Trevor Carlin and effectively his top team. But the Carlin team now spread throughout a lot of formulas, all the way down to Formula BMW in Great Britain, Formula 3, of course, this championship where they've been stalwarts. And Pons Racing. Well, MotoGP is taking place in Mugello right now, so Sito Pons has got one eye on that, I'm sure. But he would like nothing more than to see his team win here in Valencia. It's so important. Yes, he's one of the greatest. I mentioned that Angel Nieto and Jorge Martinez are on the gates. Well, Sito Pons is in the pits, and his team are out there. And Adrian Valles in 4th position at the moment. But I can't see him getting past the Epsilon Euskadi team, but look how close the top 5 are. I mentioned that the top 20 are split between less than a second in qualifying. Well, there's nothing between the top 5 at the moment. And in fact, Valles is starting to make closer attention to Will Power at the moment. Gap between them has come down to almost nothing. And there is 16 Simon Pagenaud of France, just at the back there in 5th position. There you can see Valles looking for a chance to go past Will Power. And you just might see possibility. I was asking some of the top men. I asked Andreas Zuber, who is out of this one, just what you could do to overtake. Oh, and that is Mondini. What a rotten weekend. Giorgio Mondini, winner of the V6 Championship last year, out in the gravel and after qualifying way down in 23rd position. It's just been a horrible weekend. Well, I spoke to him before qualifying and just after qualifying as well. And before qualifying, he was kind of up, looking forward to it. After qualifying, he said, I want to go to the beach. Well, he's beached his car and he's probably got the opportunity to do that now. Tocacello, the man who won in Zola, is in the top 10, so he'll score points. But disappointment so far. Colin Fleming, who went into the gravel on the first lap, is still in 9th position. And we're looking at Simon Pagenaud in 5th at the moment. He just did a 1:24.031. And a lot of drivers on the move at the moment. Time running out though, 5 laps or just under to go. And it's been a pretty immaculate display by Felix Portiero of Spain. 8 points going into this race, just behind Passini and Winkelhock in the championship. He'll move ahead of them for sure. And Jaap van Langen needs points. He has 13 at the moment after 2nd place in Monaco. But he had a big spin, went off, and he is now down in 14th position. Portiero crosses the line then with 15 laps completed, a 1:24.5, pretty much the same kind of speeds as everybody out there. The top 5 almost identical, bar a 10th or so. Pagenaud now dropping off. Pile, Gomendi, Danielson, the top 8. Fleming still in 9th, and Tocacello still in 10th position. Winkelhock just behind them. This will be disappointment for Marcus Winkelhock because he's been one of the quickest men out there through the championship, and in fact he is on the front row for the 2nd race, so to be down not even in the top 10 for this race will not be what he wanted. But time running out then. Fukuda, disappointment for him, down in 17th place, the Japanese driver. Chandok's got ahead of him, Pavlovich likewise. And well, I can't see anybody, Wesley, beating Portiero on this kind of thing, especially when he's got Kubica effectively blocking for him.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he looks like he's got it summed up really at the moment. You know, every time that you see him start his pace drop a little bit, then all of a sudden, you know, he picks it up. He just is keeping the gap at about a second, and you know, he's got it fairly sussed at the moment. You know, the next thing is going to be, I think, between 2nd and 5th, because they're all split between sort of about half a second each, and you know, it's only going to take a mistake or so for him, and you know, it's going to be, I think, very difficult. And they've all just gone over the line. They've all done exactly the same time. So I mean, if there's a mistake, there's going to be, I think, some action in from 2nd to 5th.
Well, the tyre's starting to go off now as we get down to 3 laps to go. And in terms of the championship, if it stays this way, you can see Tocacello down in 10th position. Andreas Zuber is out of this one. He was 2nd going into this race. Tocacello was 3rd. And that means that Adrian Valles has a great opportunity from 5th in the championship with 20 points to really start to make a mark and make some inroads on Montanari, Tocacello and Zuber. Kubica will just extend his lead. But more importantly, Felix Portiero. So it really is a day for the Spaniards, because Valles and Portiero are going to suddenly come into championship contention going into race 2. And that means that we're going to have a real interesting afternoon when we have the second race, the longer race, over 100 kilometers with a pit stop. And the pit stops are going to be vital this weekend for sure. We saw the practicing last night, and the experience really varies throughout the teams. And you've got some real crack teams like RC Motorsport and the Pons team who really know how to do it and do it right. And then there are other teams who've come from the V6 Championship, still learning their way in that because they didn't have pit stops, and so they're having to learn it afresh. Good battle between Fleming, Toccacello and Winkelhock going on as the leaders come across the line. They're coming out of the last corner. Absolutely nothing between the top 4. They're all in the 1:24.5s at the moment and holding station. In fact, almost everyone in the top 10 on identical pace, really. Trying to use the track and more here at this great Valencia circuit. I really like this because anywhere you look, you can see the track and you can follow. It's one of the few race circuits in Europe where you can actually see the whole of the track throughout the whole lap, and that's absolutely by design. I came here to the opening of the circuit way back in '99, and that was the idea. They wanted to do just like the Americans do in NASCAR and in Indy racing, which is to be able to let the fans get closer to the action, and that's what the World Series by Renault is all about as well. They open up the paddock, no turnstiles here. It's all about freedom and actually getting close to some of the heroes that they've come to follow, and I think that's what that's all about. I totally agree with it. Portiero continues, and someone else coming into the pits, pulling off. Zuber is out of this one. So Andreas Zuber will be bitterly disappointed, especially with Will Power powering his way into 3rd position at the moment. Time running out though. Well, some might call it boring, others might call it absolutely as planned. Portiero and Kubica, certainly the Epsilon Euskadi team, aren't looking bored by what they're doing. They're doing an excellent job and holding off Power. Valles trying to make his way past. Portiero is just flying at the moment, and that's just what he wanted here at home. As I said, didn't get the best of starts to his championship. Had a 5th place in Zolder in the first race, then didn't get any points from race 2 at Zolder. Likewise, didn't have a great race at Monaco. Now has a chance to make amends and really make his way, as will Valles, into the championship contention. Kubica will extend his lead with his 2nd place. Portiero, like I said at the beginning, I don't think Kubica has any plans to try and get past the man who's leading at the moment, Portiero. Last lap then, Felix Portiero goes over the crest here at Valencia, his home circuit, and leading the way, flying the Spanish flag high. The fans really enjoying it. Car park packed out here. And across the line then, to take the checkered flag comes Felix Portiero of Spain. His teammate Kubica, the championship leader, comes over the line in 2nd place. Will Power takes 3rd. Another local favourite, Adrian Valles, takes 4th place. Simon Pagno does take 5th. Pillet takes 6th. Gomenday, the other Frenchman, is 7th. Danielson, on his return to racing, takes 9th. Likewise, making his debut into the championship effectively race-wise, Colin Fleming takes 9th. Toccacello, winner in Zolder, 10th here in Valencia. How quickly fortunes change. Winkelhock, 11th. Montanari, who won in Monaco, takes 12th. La Rosa, the German, takes 13th place. Van Lagen, again, 2nd place. Celebrations in Monaco, nothing really here. 14th place for him. Pavlovich takes 15th place. Karun Chandok takes 16th. Rui Fukuda, 17th. Celso Miguez, another Spaniard, at 18th. Vavish, the Belgian, takes 19th. Bassini takes 20th place, and the young Frenchman from Nice will be disappointed with that. 20th place for him. But, well, as the checker flag came out, Wesley, good race, but yes, not that many overtaking opportunities, and not perhaps the most exciting of races in terms of position changes. But if you were in the Epsilon Euskadi team, you can't argue with that.
Oh no, they'll be overjoyed. I was speaking to them just before the race, and you know, they were, you know, sort of biting the nails, everything. They just wanted it to go to plan, and it has done. They, you know, Porter did a brilliant job. You know, all the time. We basically just kept the gap at a second the whole time, never pushed too hard, you know, always had it in reserve, you know, and it's brilliant for him, you know. I think everybody's been a bit calmer this weekend after the last 2 races, and I know we've all been told by the officials, you know, we want to stop getting slaps on the wrist, really. So, you know, that was a good race. You know, everybody did everything that they should have done. There was no accidents, and that's all you can ask for.
Great start to the weekend for the World Series by Renault, and exactly what Westy's talking about. 4 drivers were suspended from Monaco, and I'll talk about that in a moment after I tell you the result, which is Portiero, Kubica, Power, Valles, and Pagano, the top 5. Pilet, Gomendy, Danielson, Colin Fleming, and Toccacello making up the top 10. Yeah, as you quite rightly said, I think people have calmed down, and quite rightly so. I think there was a lot of, because the times are so close, because there's very few places to overtake, qualifying is now proving, especially when they split it now between odd and even, giving them only somewhat like 15 minutes. So that's 4 flying laps if you're lucky. And so there has been a little bit of over-exuberance, and Pasto Maldonado has been banned for 4 races, and Matteo Melanghello likewise was banned for 2 races. Andreas Suber and Colin Fleming racing under suspension at the moment, and they've just got to make sure that they are careful. Andreas Suber, unfortunately, not finishing this race, so he'll be bitterly disappointed. I'll tell you what, Felix Portiero will be glad he's got the result he's got, because he actually lines up on the 6th row in 11th place for the 2nd race. So a good result. Kubica, though, is right up there. He's in the top 4 for the 2nd race. And so that's a chance for him to go for victory there. Eric Salignon will line up again in 3rd position, and hopefully he'll be okay. Final results then, there it is. Will Power, good job by him. Will Power from Carling Motorsport. Patrick Pilet taking 6th. Tristan Gomendy 7th. Alex Danielson, welcome back, the Swede. Brilliant stuff in 8th position. And I'll tell you what, given that he only broke his ankle just over a month ago, that is very impressive. Now, there's your championship. Kubica extends his lead, 44 points. Valles now moves into 2nd place in the championship, and it was a little quick to read the rest of them. Montanari has 20 points. Will Power moves up now with 11 points. He started the day with just 1, so good stuff from him. Colin Fleming on the board in his first race.